Okay, I want to welcome you to my day two of my KNC. I want to look at in this day two, I want to look at the culture of America and just kind of looking back from the inception of our economy because culture is always, it stems from the roots of your economy. And so when I look at the root of our economy and the establishment of our economy, it's clear to us that it was established with slave owners and slaves. We all know that. It's not something that we don't know. Okay, so now that we've established it through slaves and slave owners, that breeded a culture. Well, that culture shifted when we emancipated the slaves and we created the Constitution. And now you have a melting pot of individuals. And that's where we kind of started off with a melting pot of individuals, but also having slaves now when they are integrated into society. And so with slaves integrated in society, the issue was not just the reintegration issue, which I've mentioned before, but then another issue that came about from the poor reintegration of slaves into our society is that there was a cultural difference. Of course, being a slave, there's a culture there. You have a culture of slavery. Now we're wanting to rid you of your culture of slavery, but we have to give you another culture. That culture stems from also our Constitution, which is white is right. So being acclimated into this society, now slaves have to acclimate to the concept of white is right. So we've had from our inception, we've had the standard put before us of white being right. And so we've always tried to change ourselves to reflect the white culture, the white race. And so even in times past, you'll remember growing up, I can remember them doing videos about your black is beautiful. I remember all the campaigns that they had to let you know that your hair, your kinky hair, your full lips and your nose is beautiful. Your brown skin is beautiful. Because what you did end up having is a people that started to hate themselves times back. Hate themselves, not necessarily that you hated yourself, but from the standpoint that you were going away from who you are naturally, who God birthed you to be, trying to be someone else. And if you understand, you can never fully self-actualize when you're trying to be someone else. You can only fully self-actualize when you find self-love to become who you naturally are in God's purpose and his plan for your creation. And so you have to be able to accept yourself. And so what happened is we had a standard and we began to, in order to be accepted, in order for us to even accept ourselves, we began to acclimate to white is right. So in my job, on the workforce, in the communities, we had to make sure in the media, in the entertainment industries, in the music, everything in our inception, we began to acclimate to the concept of white is right, or else you will not be accepted. And so that standard is what we have to break in America. That very standard is why we still have the issues that we see with the various inequalities and injustices that we see in America, while we still have racism in various fabrics of every industry and even our government. And so that standard has to be broken because as America, what America was supposed to be from the foundation was like a melting pot, was like a melting pot of all races coming together who desired freedom. All races coming together who wanted to worship whoever they wanted to worship. It was a place of freedom, a place of ideal dreams where you can fulfill your dreams because the boundaries and the borders that blocked you in your own home country or wherever it is that you are, you can come here and you can fulfill your dream. You can come here and you can do the things that you never thought you would do because you have the freedom and the liberty and the justice to do it. You have a system that would operate fairly for you to be able to do it. But the only thing that you have to do is you have to acclimate to white is right in the process. That very concept of acclimating to white is right is what hindered even other nationalities, not just black people. We've disassociated ourselves so much that we don't even call ourselves African anymore. It's now no longer African American, but we in this generation call ourselves for the most part Black Americans. So in other nationalities, the same thing has happened because they're acclimating to the culture of white is right. And so through third and fourth generations of other cultures of Asians and Mexican and Latino Americans, they found the same thing, that in the first and second generation, they were strong in family values. They had less crime, less violence. But as the culture begins to be more acclimated and become more acclimated to the culture of the standard of white is right, they saw that their youth begin to turn from family, because acceptance is considered to be white, not what I see in my household. So then they even have more divide in their generations as the generations are going. So then you can see naturally that there is a problem. You can see that the culture of America is the cause to many of the things that we're experiencing in our economy. The culture that white is right cannot stand, because man can never shape man after man unless man wants to be destroyed. So if I pattern myself after another man, then I will be destroyed, because I'm not patterning myself after the God that is in me. And so we have to start focusing on the individual self as well as the principle or the standard that God has given us. So the standard of this nature, or of our economy, has to be a culture for God, or character, godly character, right character. Martin Luther King said it best. He said the content of your character. So we have to look at it. If we do not change our society and the fabric of our industries and our markets to look at the content of your character on the workforce and in the environments, then we will always stay with inequality, racism, injustice, and unfairness, inequities, and all these things will still remain, because in order to be accepted, you have to be white. So we have to break that. We have to have a right character, has to begin to change the culture, where we're looking at now, how do you respond? Are you responding and exhibiting the right character? Are you responding and exhibiting the character that loves your brother, that loves your sister, that loves yourself? Are you exhibiting the right character? And then by that right character, you should be promoted. By that right character, you should be elevated. By that right character, you should succeed in this economy. Not because of the whiteness of your skin, or how fair your skin is, or how close you act according to the white character. But it should be the right character that you look for, and that we look for, and that we have to build this economy by. So on my website, I have a mission that says that this country should be established, or should focus on developing all things, should work together for the establishment or the development of the humankind, the human character. So all things in our economy has to work together to develop the human character of man. And as the character of man begins to develop and succeed, those that have right character are succeeding and being promoted, then that means the best of us in this system will be promoted. The best of us in this system will rise. The best of us in this system will end up at the top, and it will promote everybody else and encourage everybody else that's at the bottom because of poor character. Doesn't matter your color, it matters your character. To look at and see the models that have succeeded have right character. So that's what we need if we're going to really build an economy. We have to have right character. We have to focus on understanding that the current culture of America is what's tainting us. And we have to change that culture by changing our leadership. I thank you for this coming to my KNC, listening to my KNC. I have a day 3 coming up, so I hope you follow me. Thank you.